For most of human history, wolves were seen as dangerous monsters. If you were a human 30,000 years ago, hearing wolves howling at night would have been a direct sign of danger because humans were smaller, slower, and surrounded by predators that could detect scent from miles away. They hunted in packs, their jaws were incredibly powerful, their endurance was terrifying, and their vision in the dark worked far better than that of humans. But the surprising part is that among all the animals humans encountered on Earth, these same wolves eventually became our closest companions. Not horses, not cows, not primates, but wolves. Today there are millions of dogs around the world that guard our homes, rescue people, detect dangerous substances, sleep beside us, and live as part of our families. But dogs were not the result of any human master plan. No one sat down and decided to create a lovable companion. This relationship formed almost like an accident, and it is possible that wolves had already started changing themselves even before humans intentionally domesticated them. To understand this, we need to go back to the Ice Age around 20 to 40,000 years ago when humans were hunter-gatherers. They lived in small groups, constantly moving in search of food, and life was extremely harsh. Hunts often failed, winters could be deadly, and even a single injury could mean death. During this time, wolves likely hovered around the edges of human camps because humans left behind scraps of food bones, hides, and partially eaten meat, which were free meals for wolves. At first, the wolves probably approached cautiously. The ones that were too aggressive may have been killed, and the ones that were too fearful stayed away and remained hungry. But some wolves were less fearful, less aggressive, and more curious. These wolves gradually became more successful because they did not need to risk their lives hunting dangerous prey. They could simply survive by staying near humans and feeding on leftovers. Over time, evolution began selecting for these very traits. The calmer wolves got more food, the friendlier ones moved closer to humans, and the extremely aggressive ones gradually disappeared. Slowly, not just their behavior, but their bodies began to change as well. This may sound strange, but scientists have actually observed this happening. In 1959, Soviet scientist Dmitry Belyaev started an experiment on foxes in Siberia. In every generation, he selected only the calmest and least aggressive foxes for breeding. Within a few decades, those foxes began behaving like dogs. They wagged their tails, sought human attention, and became comfortable around people. Then their bodies started changing too. Their ears became floppy, their snouts became shorter, patches appeared on their fur, and their tails began to curl. In other words, changing behavior alone can also change the body. Perhaps early proto-dogs began to look like this even before humans intentionally started raising them. Gradually, humans realized the advantage of this relationship. Wolves could hear sounds before humans detect danger from far away through scent and help locate prey. They became a living alarm system. If a predator approached or a stranger came near, they would become alert first. This is where the bond between the two species began to deepen, and why dogs are considered the first domesticated animal in human history, even before farming and other domesticated animals. When humans began farming and started eating more grains, dogs also developed the ability to digest starch in order to live alongside us, a trait that is much less developed in wolves. Over thousands of years, this relationship became not just physical, but emotional as well. When humans look into a dog's eyes, both bodies release oxytocin, the same hormone involved in the emotional bond between parents and children. Wolves do not naturally do this, but dogs do. Dogs cannot raise their eyebrows like humans in the same way, but over thousands of years, dogs developed a muscle above their eyes that allows them to raise their brows and create the exact same innocent expression that a human baby makes while crying or showing affection. Because of this muscle, when a dog looks at us, our hearts melt. Their famous puppy dog eyes are not just a coincidence, but a result of evolution because humans took better care of dogs that looked cuter and more expressive. Some scientists believe that dogs improved human hunting ability so much that groups with dogs had a better chance of survival, and perhaps dogs helped humans spread across the world. But this partnership came with a cost as well. Today, many breeds suffer from health problems because of human breeding. Pugs cannot breathe properly. Dachshunds often suffer from spinal issues, and bulldogs sometimes cannot even give birth naturally. Even so, the wolf still remains inside them. When dogs circle around before lying down, hide food, howl, or twitch in their sleep, their ancient instincts reveal themselves. Inside every small or large dog, there is still the shadow of an Ice Age hunter, and perhaps that is why dogs feel different from other domesticated animals. Cats live alongside us, horses work with us, cows endure, but dogs truly bonded with humans. humans. They slept beside us near the fire, walked with us across frozen lands, protected our camps, and stayed with us through wars and journeys. In Germany, a grave around 14,000 years old was discovered where a man, a woman, and a dog were buried together. That dog had suffered from a serious illness but survived for a long time, which means humans cared for it. Imagine Ice Age humans who were themselves struggling just to survive, still choosing to spend their resources on a sick dog. That was not just utility, it was attachment, friendship, perhaps even love. And none of this began with some grand plan. It started with a few wolves that were slightly less afraid of approaching human fires, a few leftover scraps of food animals slowly coming closer in the darkness, and the process of evolution that transformed fear into one of the greatest partnerships in human history. And today, when your dog sleeps peacefully beside you, it may not know that this friendship is thousands of years old, but now you do. If you also think that dogs are loyal, then definitely subscribe to the video.